Man, this is gonna blow you away. Dude, I cannot wait to tell you about my reverse RMD strategy. It's every morning I come in here. Right now I'm at Dunkin' Donuts. Let's say about 3 times a week I come to Dunkin', and the rest I work from home, depending on how active the dogs are. But dude, and what I do is I come to Dunkin', get me an Americano decaf with 3 creams, toasted coconut donut. I say my prayers. I ask for guidance. Always need to ask guidance, dude. Anything you do, just ask God. Say, God, give me guidance to glorify you and to help humanity. That's literally, and God is gonna. I don't know. I'm not God. I don't know what He does, but it just sets the stage. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't really have much to. I mean, I'm kind of like not writer's block, but I'm kind of like, man. And all of a sudden, I know it. Boom! Hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, oh man. So I've been working on this. And it's, whoa, dude, you can't be shutting your turn. You can't be doing that. Guy just slammed his brakes on in front of a big old dump truck, and they want to go left. The dump truck's like, what? You can't do that, dude. Not when the guy's coming up behind you like that. Anyway, so it hit me like a ton of bricks. In the last, 2 hours or so, I got here about 9. Yeah, about 2 hours. I was just working on this, and it's going to blow you away. It's going to blow you away. And I'm not even using historical averages, all right? I'm using projected averages. You know, when we get to play around with projected averages, I get that. So I'm not going to do it just to make it look good. But my projected averages are well below historical averages, which makes it harder for me to get this to work. And that's the problem. If I use historical averages, we can do the reverse RMD until we're blue in the face and never run into any buzzsaw. Pretty much. I mean, obviously 66 to 82 would be the one. But other than that, you can do whatever you want. I don't want to do that. And I'm going to use historical averages, too, to set the table, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to make sure we can last from 66 to 82, first and foremost. That's the biggest risk we have. And all of historical averages, the 66 to 82 time frame is by far and away the biggest hurdle we got to jump over. The Great Depression wasn't the biggest hurdle. It's without question the 66 to 82 time frame. If we can make it through that, we're good. But that still uses historical averages, and I don't want to use I'm going to use that, but I don't want to do that. I want to also use current projections. And again, I use the Vanguard models, which is based on John Bogle. You know, earnings growth plus dividend yield plus earnings growth plus dividend yield. That's essentially what we're going for. Now, again, that's a little bit, I don't want to say suspect, not the right word, a little bit of a challenge given that when Bogle came up with his projections for future portfolio growth, there wasn't as many stock buybacks as there are now. And so because of that, dividend yield play a much higher role than it does now. Now it's more capital gain because stock buybacks increase the capital gain by decreasing the number of shares outstanding. And so we have more capital gain, less dividend yield. So essentially what that means is less shares, more earnings per share, if that makes sense. So if you had a 4% dividend yield, a 6% earnings per share growth year over year, a 10% return in your projected stocks, well, now it's a 2% dividend yield. If you're still using a 6% earnings growth year over year, your 10% has now dropped to 8. That is suspect because in replacing dividend yield with stock buybacks, you got to take into consideration stock buybacks. And for a lot of times, I didn't do that. No one did that. And so as such, we were just kind of looking, well, the dividend yield's 2. Historically, it's 4. So inherently, you got to reduce your future projections by 2%. And that's been a challenge for us of those on the more conservative side of analytics going forward, projections going forward. We've seen, and I've seen the light about how stock buybacks work. Now, that doesn't mean earnings growth year over year is going to be 6%. I don't expect that. I mean, 4% earnings growth year over year, 4% dividend yield plus stock buyback seems reasonable to me. I'm not even using 8%. I'm using a 7% rate of return for stocks, 7%, and about a 4% for bonds. All right, so we're still coming in at you pretty conservatively relative to historical numbers, which means my numbers aren't nearly as good as they would have been if I used historical rates of return. So if you see someone stealing my idea and using historical rates of return, well, I'd tell them to pound sand. You say, hey, you need to give Josh protection money because you took his idea and you're running with it using faulty numbers. And so anyway, just FYI, I don't like to use faulty numbers. I like to use conservative numbers. Why? Because I don't want you at 81 years old having no money and say, Josh. But all bets are on the table, dude. All bets are on the table. And for all those of you guys, I don't like that. Dude, Pound sand, dude. This is a way to look at retiring so you can enjoy the first 10 years of life while you're retired, spending more money than you most likely will in the future, and we know this because data. You can't argue with the data. I mean, you could argue with the data, but then you have to say, why am I arguing with the data? And the reason you'd be arguing with the data is simple, because you don't believe the data. You said, no, I don't think that's true. All right, well, then what's your evidence against the data? And this is what drives me up the wall about my business. People say, oh, I don't believe that's true. Don't you know? I'm like, well, where's your evidence of that? Well, my observation. What does that mean? Your empirical evidence or just an anecdotal observation? Anyway, it's funny. I was reading my man Michael Edison yesterday, who I'm a big fan, long time, first time. I've been interviewed him a couple times, and he's a mathematics, and he was writing an article about Nassim Nicholas Taleb, how Nassim had sent him his book. I forgot what the book was called, and Michael's a real mathematician, not just a quantitative mathematician for finance. He says that's faulty math, and he's saying Taleb's books are based on sound math, unlike what you get in the investment world. I said, oh man, Michael Edison, I love him. He's not afraid to freaking stick it to him, and I love it, because I hate faulty analysis. I hate it like a passion. Oh, but I got an MBA. Hey, I don't know who that was, but she just waved to me. She likes the old Josh. She likes my pearly yellows. Look, my pearly yellows on my yellow. Look, it matches my shirt. Maybe I'll get my teeth whitened. Maybe I'll get more views if I get my teeth whitened. What do y'all think? Put it in the show notes. Should I get my teeth whitened? Would that attract more ladies? I'm a pretty top-heavy man-to-woman ratio on my YouTube channel. Probably because I say some things that people find offensive, because, some people don't have a sense of humor. But Penelope's still running around. Jill, Marie, Angie, who else out there? We got some Annie. I see you out there, Annie. And if I miss you, I apologize. What's that lady's name? Not Penelope. I see her picture on. I can see her picture on Pam. I see Pam out there. She's still running around. So I still got a number of ladies, but I'm probably 80-20, not 90-10 men to ladies. Because you're so offensive. You don't respect women. I said, oh. The person I respect most in this world is my wife, because she will crush everybody who crosses her path. Trust me, to include me. The idea that I don't respect women is so freaking stupid. Yeah, but you said something that's mean about Heels Up Harris. I said, because it's funny. Pull them freaking plank out of your butt and laugh, dude. They call Trump a dictator. I was like, wait, Trump's a dictator. He's already in office. What did he dictate? Yeah, if he left office, if he gets back in, he's really going to be a dictator this time. I said, well, why wasn't he the first time? Well, because he couldn't. Inherently, he's not a dictator if he couldn't dictate. Oh, my. But this time he will. Okay. It's so dumb. But if I say Heels Up Harris, people get all freaking flummoxed. How dare you? Trump's a fascist dictator. He's new Hitler. All right, God bless. Love to your thoughts. See ya.